lavish, you know I'm perfect. So go ahead and drink up. I'm so glad we got to link up. Get to taking that off me. Yeah. I got the plug, I made the cup green. Talking late night for you.
Hey y'all, what's up, and welcome to the MooMoo Room, the home of the aunties, uncles, nieces, and nephews, the home of the fam, the home of the girls. Welcome. Listen. This a little midday conversation going on. Already did our morning motivation. If you have not seen the community wall, our reading today, as always, is Psalms and Proverbs. We will be reading Psalms and Proverbs to the end of the year. Okay, so make sure y'all are, giving you a Psalms and a Proverbs a day. Okay, 2 P's a day. Keep saying, okay. So that was our read for this morning. So, I'm just in my midday because, I'm just in this period in my life where I am communing with God. I am seeking his face for people, for places, for things, for a lot that is going on in the world. I am just seeking God's face and, hoping that he will, he said if it's just a few of us in the land, okay, he will heal the land. But y'all, I want to talk about something that I have been talking about. And like I said, like they say, I ain't about to be before you long. I just was reading, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to talk about, let me see what I am looking for. So I want to talk about who should I start with? Who should I start with now? I like to talk about some of us sisters in the word. Okay, because we was all throughout this word, right? Okay, so you know what? Let's just start with us first, sister. Okay. And that's our sister Eve. That's mother. That's our mother Eve. Okay, because she's not our sister, she's our mother. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about Mother Eve. Okay. And I have this, I can't show y'all what I'm on. I can't get the camera to work right. But I have this lovely little thing that I read out of called Women of Color. Okay. I will put the reference for it in the video. I'll go back in and put the reference of it. But it's just it's a nice little read. I like to read. Reading is fun. So I love to read. So it says the creation of Eve, the first woman of color, occurred on the sixth day of creation. In the first chapter of Genesis, the story of creation of Eve demonstrates the importance of men and women complementing one another, supporting one another, and empowering one another. When women of color develop and nurture relationships, whether intimate, professional, familiar, or social, we must remember the importance of embracing and empowering through our role as a helper, okay? Which is aligned to us in Genesis 2 and 20, okay? I define helper not only in the sense of a husband-wife team or a male-female relationship, but in exclusively from a biblical stance, women helping women helping men, women helping children, women helping the community, women helping others who may or may not be like them. Okay, so that's just, them are the principles and morals that we stand on over here in Auntie's house. Okay, Eve's story also shows the challenges of listening and hearing God when God speaks to us. When we fail to hear God's voice, we move in the wrong direction and we commit sin. Eve first sinned when she listened to the serpent instead of God. See, people want to think that Eve first sin was, y'all, we ain't about to get about this, but I just thought this was interesting because this is what I was reading about. So I just thought I'd share, read out loud with y'all or whatever. And, sometimes I just like to talk about what I'm reading. So, um, there will be times when we listen to the wrong voice, but it's important to remember that we can always go to God and seek forgiveness. There is no need to hide from God. God wants us to confess our wrongs to Him. In fact, in Genesis 3:9, God asked Adam and Eve, "Where are you?" The question, where are we in our relationship to God, should be ever before us. So we should always be thinking, like, where is our relationship with God? I always tell y'all, it's not about religion, it's about relationship. Okay. So this is just, I'm just trying to, I don't know, I'm just reading out loud with y'all or whatever. I'm just letting y'all into some of my devotional time, what I do, um, especially when I'm home and, I got a lot going on in my family, good stuff, stuff that, can shake a family, a lot of different things. So I sit and I just go start reading so that I can understand the different spirits that are out here about, because these women's spirits lay out here. So there's like spirits of these women out here. You know what I'm saying? So I just like to go read about different things like this. The story of Eve should remind women of color that God had created each of us in His image. We know that God has empowered and inspired many women of color to be pioneers, to be helpers, and to be women who listen to the voice of God. Where are you in your relationship with God? Whose voice are you listening to? Those are the questions. Where are you in your relationship with God, and whose voices are you listening to? Um, if you want to reference what I was reading and talking about, you can go to Genesis 1, 27, Genesis 2, 18 through Genesis 4, 25, Romans 5, 18 through 19, and 2 Corinthians 11 and 3. Because I know some people be like, what is Auntie MooMoo over there talking about? Look, I don't know. I told y'all, I don't know about y'all, but when stuff be going on around me and in my life, I like to go and read. I'm a reader. I just like to read. And I just happen to be cleaning out my closet, y'all. And I found this book, and I'm just like, oh my God, I forgot about that. Because it just helps me understand. Hey, Auntie Beth. Okay. So I want to talk about Miss Jezebel. Let me make sure I say it because I don't want nobody taking it that I'm talking about anybody. But y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Carlissa. I'm really talking about her because I just feel like she's a prime example of a Jezebel spirit to me. That's just me. So let me say it again. We are talking about the evil ideologist and abuser of power, just a few of the descriptions associated with Queen Jezebel. However, even from her story, women of color could learn a valuable lesson from her. Okay, now they're saying we can learn, so let's talk about it. Jezebel grew up in a home and community of idol worshippers. She brought her own religious beliefs with her when she married King Ahab, and her influence contributed to the widespread worship of idols in Israel. Jezebel influenced both the king and the country, and Ahab's reign was categorized categor- y'all know what I'm trying to say, categorized as evil in part as a result of his resilience on his wife and her views. Okay? Elijah was one of God's prophets during the reign of Ahab and Jezebel. Elijah challenged the 450 prophets of Baal and 400 prophets of Ashur to call on their gods to send fire up on an altar. Of course, they were unsuccessful. Elijah prayed to God to send fire on an altar that Elijah had first soaked in water. The true and living God produced fire. After Elijah won this amazing challenge, he ordered the death of all the prophets of Baal and Ashur. When Jezebel heard what Elijah had done to the prophets of the gods she worshipped, she sent a message to Elijah threatening to unalive him by the next day. It has been said that the test of true prophet is that his and her predictions came true. Jezebel's predictions about taking Elijah's life did not come true. Elijah ran away and hid from Jezebel's wrath, but Yahweh protected, fed, and sheltered him. Conversely, Elijah prophesied about Jezebel's destruction as well as her family demise, and she passed just as Elijah prophesied. Dogs devoured her so that no one could recognize her body. Ahab and Jezebel's evil choices contributed to their own death. The death of the prophets of Baal and the death of 70 sons of Ahab. Sometimes it seems like the wicked prosper and the righteous suffer. But this story reminds us that there is a day of judgment coming. Regardless of how things seem, eventually the righteous will receive shelter. As was true with Elijah, and evil will have its own reward, as we seen through the deaths of Ahab and Jezebel and their children. Reflect on times when it looked like the wicked was prospering. How did that turn out? Seek, live life on God's side, regardless of how things look around you. Look, what did I say? What did I tell y'all? It is harvest season. It's harvest season. No matter what we read, it tells us it's harvest season. Mm, 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 mm. Yes, it's harvest season. Y'all, it is harvest season. Then, listen. I be thinking sometimes, y'all, I say she do got a Jezebel spirit. But y'all listen to Rebecca's story. Remember Rebecca? Rebecca was remember Rebecca was unable to have children, right? Y'all remember Rebecca's story? Rebecca was unable to have children. And for 20 years after she had married Isaac, she would not bear any children, right? She couldn't have any, she still would not bear children. So, they were praying to God because they thought that, and y'all know, I'm giving my version, I'm paraphrasing, go in the word and read it. Go start at Genesis 20, I think it's Genesis 25, I think somewhere around there, it's in Genesis. So, Rebecca, she was barren. She could, she thought she was barren. She thought she couldn't have children, whatever, right? So finally, she conceived two twin boys, Esau and Jacob. Remember? And remember Esau, who was born first, right? Remember Esau was oh, When now it's like, now that I'm really thinking about it, because I was like, Carlissa has a Jezebel spirit, but I'm like, no, she is like Rebecca. When it comes to Andre and Blue, she's like Rebecca when it comes to them. I'm like, oh my God, I never really thought about that, y'all. Like, really, really, really. That's, oh my God. I never really thought about that. Wow. Rebecca favored her younger son, Jacob, and desired to that he take the place of Esau as the inheritor. When they When the opportunity arose, Rebekah helped Jacob deceive his father Isaac, who had become old, feeble, and blind, bestowed upon Jacob the family blessing in the inheritance that was intended for Esau. Rebekah later projected Jacob from Esau. Sorry. Rebekah later protected Jacob from Esau's wrath by sending him to stay with his brother Laban in Haran. Unfortunately, Rebekah and Jacob were never reunited, and upon his death, Rebekah was buried in the family burial ground at Machpelah. And it's instinctive and prosper for a woman, a wife, and a mother to love passionately. But Rebecca's love for Jacob became a selfish, jealous love that led to favoritism of one child over another. Now say that ain't what that lady do. Say that ain't what that lady do. Ooh, wee. Her love for Jacob has also led her to compromise her love for and loyalty to her husband. She was determined to do what she thought would help Jacob at the expense of both Esau and Isaac. Now, I swear, you don't. If it came to Blue, Carlissa throw Mr. Schofield, Dre, her daddy. We done seen her do it. We done seen her do it. Have we not seen this woman do this? Ooh, Mm-mm. Y'all, look. How did I miss this? Unlike Rebecca's case, sometimes we hear that crimes of passion have ultimately led to the death of innocent people. As mothers and spouses, we must take care we must take care that our love for our children and our spouses does not become an obsessive love, a love that would allow us to succumb to the temptation of Satan to betray moral ethics. Oh, do she not betray moral ethics, y'all? Do she not betray moral ethics? Oh, covenant relationships. Do she not covenant relationships? Oh, and spiritual commitments. Girl, listen. A woman of God, our love should always be pure and subject to the Spirit of God. God's love for us serves as the ultimate true example of pure love. A love that is unconditional, shows no bias or favoritism. It is not jealous or boastful. Unselfish motives and desires define pure love. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves, and all above never fails. You know, that's First Corinthians 13, baby. Y'all know what that is. Evaluate the love you have for your family member. How can you make sure your love is pure and subject to God's Spirit? Listen. Ooh. I just love it. I just love it. Mm-mm-mm. Is there anybody else y'all want me to give y'all a little insight on? Anybody y'all feel like y'all need a little insight on? Hmm? You know what? Y'all know I love the book of Job. Let's talk about Job's wife. Let's talk about her. Let's talk about Miss. Let's talk about her. I don't remember even if they gave her a name. You know, they never said her name. She was just Job's wife. um, they had 7 sons and 3 daughters, right? So they had 10 children. They had numerous livestock and a number of servants. Job is described as the greatest man among all the people of the East. So he could assume that Job's wife was the greatest woman. Then, at the hand of Satan, the test came. In the traditionally Job's test, but it was Mrs. Job's test as well. Look, not only was it his test, but it was his wife's test. And we have to understand, especially for us married people, even for us people that are dating, even for us people that are heading the household, sometimes we be thinking that the test just be for one person, and it could be for the family. It could be for the strength of everybody, you know. So we got to remember that when, especially when our spouse is being tested, so are we. And as women, we have to learn how to stand behind, stand firm, plant our feet on the ground, 10 toes down, and stand fast. You know, we have to learn how to do that. Um, let me see. Their livestock and servants was destroyed, their assets was lost, and all 10 of their children were unalive. The biblical camera from the focus of Job's grief, giving no attention to Mrs. Job. Indeed, the heavenly wrangler that had been placed on her husband had destroyed her world too. The pain intensified when her husband was sickened with sores all over his body. She would not be surprised that her faith fluttered, and she cried out to Job, "Are you still holding on to your integrity? Curse God and die." Y'all remember that? These are the words that have provoked commentators, past and present, to stone Miss Job, although Satan surely used her words to tempt Job. Anyone who has been experienced great loss can understand her outburst. Now, any of us that has been through something, I share some of the things I have been through with y'all last night. There was a lot of moments that I just wanted to be like, Lord, just go on and take me. Like, I just can't do this no more. This ain't for me. This world ain't for me. I don't know what's going on, because it was so much for me to bear. But God, he said he will never give you more. But then I had to start repenting and say, Lord, forgive me. Because you always said you would never give me more than I can bear. Lord, you always said that you would protect me. Lord, you always said that I lean upon you. You always said, Lord, that your ways are not my ways, and neither are my ways your ways, neither are your thoughts my thoughts, neither are my thoughts your thoughts. Lord, you have told me all these things, and yet I'm still going through this time. And then when you bring me through, all I can do is praise you, because I know because I know I can't get through this life by myself. I know that it has to be a higher power that is helping me through here. Now, some people might think that they got it all together. They might think they mini gods. I don't know. And so they might feel like they can get through this life without him. But me, not your girl, sister girl. I need him, because when nobody else was there, when I didn't have nobody else to talk to, when I didn't have nobody else to cry out to, when I didn't have nobody else to understand me, I could cry out to him. And no, it don't come simultaneously. It don't come instantly. And I had to learn patience with God. That was something I didn't understand. I didn't understand patience. I didn't understand submissiveness. I didn't understand all this. I was like, I had a microwave mentality accountability when it came to God. Okay, Lord, I asked you for these things. I need it now. I need it now. I can't wait until you give it to me. I need it because I need it. You know what I'm saying? But then when I begin to be in a repentant state, and I've been like, Lord, you know what? Let your perfect will be done. Lord, you know what? Not my will, but your will. Lord, you know, when I began to talk to him and I began to really, build my personal relationship with him, not the pastor's relationship, not my mama relationship, not my daddy relationship, not my brother, my sister, nobody else's relationship but me and his relationship. When I can hear him call me daughter and I can call him dad. Do you understand what I'm saying? When I can hear that in my spirit, when I can feel my spirit connect, that's personal. And some people say, I haven't got there. I haven't got there, MooMoo. I haven't got there. And you know what? You might be there and you don't even know you're there because you're not sitting still enough, long enough to listen. You're so big, when I'd say all the time, sometimes we have to learn how to listen. See, sometimes we miss it because we're ready to respond. We listen to respond. We don't listen to learn. See, it used to be the thing that you listen to learn. You don't listen to respond. But now everybody got an opinion. Google done made everybody think that they know everything in the world. See, back in the day, in order to be educated, you had to really take time and go get educated. You had to go actually read a book. You had to pick up a book and you had to actually read it. Then you had to go pick up a dictionary because there was some words in that book you wasn't quite sure about, so you had to go research that. And then sometimes you had to pick up an encyclopedia because it was some other stuff that you needed to know. See, now this world has gotten so lazy that the only thing they do now is go to Google. Baby, Google was established in 1998. There is people my age inputting stuff in Google. There is people younger than me inputting stuff in Google. There is old people inputting stuff in Google. Google is subject to what you feeling and what you want to hear. My Google right now probably listening to me. She listening right now. Ready to give me, when I click her on, give me what she think I want to watch or what I want to hear or what I want to see or what I want to know about. So what are y'all going to do when you have to really go up against the machine in order to survive? And we know the machine is based off of Google. Yeah, it's so bad now, books is not even going in circulation. I was going to go buy, it was the was it a People? It was something, $17 for a magazine. Why? Because print, nobody reads anymore. Nobody goes and buy magazines anymore. So they only print Essence 3 to 4 times a year. They only put, I don't even know if they even print Jet anymore. If they do, it's only on a 2 to 3 times a year. They only, what happened to Black Beat? What happened to Black Teen? What happened to Sorts? What happened to, what? We was controlling the media. We was controlling what the images that was, but so then now everything that went to the phone. Now they can control what we see, what we hear, how we hear it, how we see it. I promise if a lot of people just go back and pick up some books and start reading, man, your life will be so different. You will learn so much, not just about just life. Pick up some old shit. Everybody go, listen, the 48 Laws of Power. Come on. How many people have not read the 48 Laws of Power? I really need to pick it up and read it again in my 40s. I read it in my 20s. I read it in my 30s. In my 50s. I read it in my 30s, my 20s. I read it in my 30s. I read it early in my 40s. Now I'm in my 50s. Now I need to read it again. because now I can see it. Because see, you got to look at it with what the times is going. We need to go and pick up the original books. We need to go to some of these half off old bookstores where they're going in buying these books so they can take them out of circulation and put in, revise them and put some other stuff back into circulation because they don't want you to know the truth of what's going on. I'm just saying, don't, I'm just thinking out loud. I'm just thinking out loud. Sometimes I talk to myself because there is no one to talk to. You know what I'm saying? People ask me why I do what I do. Because baby, listen. Because sometimes you gotta. I preach to the choir. I preach to myself, baby. I talk to myself. This what I'm telling you. Like I said, I'm reading. I'm in my reading zone. I got like 20 more minutes in my little reading zone where it's reading time. This is where we're at right now. So I'm just reading, and I said I'm gonna come live and read with y'all, and share my opinion on what I'm reading on. She too suffered as she watched the one she loved endure such great pain. She also was in mourning, for she had lost her sons and daughters. It is probable that she suggested death to Job because death is what she wished for herself. She felt the faith and the courage were unattainable at that moment. Listen, have you ever been in a moment where you just be like, Lord, I don't even know where my faith is right now. I don't even know where my courage is right now. I don't even know if I can go on to the next minute, next second, let's on the next hour, the next day, the next week, the next month. Lord, I just don't know. Have you ever been in that place where you're just not sure? You just don't know, and you're asking God, just help me, like give me a clear understanding on what's up next for me. Where am I at mentally, emotionally, spiritually? Like what is going on with me? See, when we speak with God, we have to speak with God through all of it, through our emotions, through our spirit man, through our fleshly body, through our mental, through our, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, he gonna look at that heart. He gonna look in that heart. That's why he said that word out hid in your heart so that you will not sin against me. He gonna look at your heart, and he knows the intent of your heart. Uh, Furthermore, haven't we all said things for which we had to have to repent about? How many times have we had to repent because we have been like, you got to think. They say even when Jesus was on the cross, right? When Yeshua Jesus, y'all, however y'all call him, okay? When he was on the cross, he said, Father, why have thou forsaken me? Even he was like, God, why am I going through this? He said, why have thou forsaken me? Why am I going through this? Why this have to happen to me? Y'all better ask him. In Job chapter 42, tells us that the Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life with double the earthly possessions and 10 more children. We are safely assumed that the mother of the last 10 children was the mother of the first 10 children. Restoration and reconciliation then were Mrs. Job's just as they were Job's. As we reflect on this bereaved woman, we can find comfort in the hope of restoration and reconciliation when we endure suffering. Hmm. Me too, Auntie Bear. When I lost my son, when I lost my brother, when I lost my auntie, when I lost my daddy, when I lost my daddy, when I lost my nephew. Me too. When I lost my ex. Me too. When I lost my best friend. When I lost my other friend. So I know. I know how she feels. I've been there. Do you need restoration and reconciliation? Reflect on the story of Joe's wife to inspire you to keep your faith in God. Share her story with someone you know who need restoration and reconciliation. Um, you already know I always say read the book of Job because I feel like if you're ever really going on something, you should always read the book of Job. Yeah, my job is sanitizing. They really be trying. They be trying me. They be trying me. They be trying me. Yeah, I promise every week is something. Something. Okay, but hold on. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? What? So who else? Who else y'all want to talk about in the word before I get up out of here? We got a few more minutes before my reading time is over. So who else y'all want to talk about? Some of y'all, do y'all know who Anna is? Anna was a prophetess. She was a woman through whom God spoke. When she spoke, those in the temple listened. She was a Messianic watcher and a leader. She represented God's calling women to be prophetic leaders. She was so respected that her attestation of Jesus was highly regarded, alongside that of an angel and a righteous man. Anna is a model of spiritual devotion. She kept vigil in the temple, fasting, praying, and offering thanksgiving. According to Luke 19, Jesus said that the temple should be a house of prayer, and that was what Anna did there. She prayed. This devout woman did not allow her circumstances to stop her from worshiping God and waiting for God's promised Messiah. She became a widow after only 7 years of marriage, yet she used her situation as an opportunity to devote herself even until her old age to interceding for others and setting an example as a worshiper for many to come. Anna was a forerunner to the apostle who was commissioned to witness. Hold on. Hello. Uh-huh. That's all right. Right now I am. I do have something going on right now. And it's usually evenings. What is this doing? Um, um, no, I can't remember. Ooh, I know a lot of people like that. Cause um, I can't really give you that. Okay, I can take that information. Okay, HARO. Okay, uh-huh, uh-huh. Okay, I sure will. Uh-huh. You too. That is so funny, y'all. They're like, do you know anybody that you can give our number to? I mean, so they say they're looking for customer service people. So if y'all need somebody wants a customer service job or looking for a customer service job, inbox me and I will give you the information. Let me see. Sorry, y'all. Anna was a forerunner to the apostles who were commissioned to witness to the entire world, beginning in Jerusalem. She joyously told people who the baby Jesus was and what he would do for people. Anna represented hopeful expectation. She is a model who shows women today how to live righteous and godly lives in anticipation of what God will do. How do you see how do you be more devout in your service to God and others? How would you be more devout? Oh, okay, we're gonna read about Ruth real quick and then I'm gonna get up. Let's read about Ruth. I love Ruth too. You say even though my grandmother's name. Let's read about Ruth. Who was Ruth? Oh my God. Okay. Ruth, a model of friendship and sisterhood. I like that. A model of friendship and sisterhood. The book of Ruth and the woman Ruth has provided the biblical canon with captivating voice that reaches far beyond what the writer of this book may have intended. This brief account holds more than a sentimental scriptural reference for a wedding of a or a life design for single women. This story highlights many of the issues that African American women struggle with today: family, security, loss, racism, sexism, and survival. Ruth is best known for marrying Boaz and giving birth to Obadiah, an ancestor of David and consequently Jesus. But before she claimed her place in history as wife and mother, she added a unique imprint as woman and sister. Okay, and it says sister, baby, like sister girl. It says sister. In Ruth 114, we find this Moabite widow making an unprecedented choice to cling or cleave to her Israelite mother in law. The relationship between Ruth and Naomi bond, two women who could have easily chose to become estranged. After the death of her husband, Naomi's son, Ruth was left with an uncertain future. She would return to her home, but there was no guarantee that her family would embrace her since she had married an Israelite. The Israelites were longtime analysts of her people. She could follow her mother in law, but there was uncertainty about how she would be received as a foreign whose own ethnic roots. Using her, a foreigner with own ethnic roots. Using her courage and strength, Ruth remained with a cleanse to Naomi. As a result, they were able to move beyond their given identities as wives and widows and then establish identities as partners and soldiers. The return of Naomi to Bethlehem was the beginning of the new life for her and Ruth. Ruth worked in the fields of Naomi's relatives Boaz. Following the advice of Naomi, Ruth eventually won the love of Boaz, who bought the estate of Naomi and married Ruth. This story gives to us is a message that the value of cooperation, collaboration, friendship, love, and trust between two women at the turning point of her life. Ruth continued a relationship that would become a great blessing for both women. By taking risks and working together, Ruth and Naomi became a model for future generations of love, trust, and loyalty. In Ruth, we're going to ask the question: how can you work with other women to bring about change for yourself and for others? And that's what we're trying to do over here, y'all. We're trying to just bring about change. We're trying to get these women out of captivity. We're trying to just bring about change. Is there anything that stands in the way of you cooperating with other women? And seek God's guidance in dealing with your concerns. So, y'all, that was my midday reading. Okay, I just wanted to share that with y'all. That was my midday reading. I'm going to get off of here. Y'all be blessed, be blessed, be blessed. Okay. And I hope those that's watching it on the replay hit that like button. Show your auntie some love, okay? I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. I just wanted to share my reading with y'all. Look, I'm not trying to persuade nobody. Like I say, I love everybody, honey. I love you as you are. You know what I'm saying? So I just read what is good for me, what's good for my soul, what keeps me motivated because it's so wicked out here in these YouTube streets. I like to keep myself motivated as well as keep my crew motivated, keep my people motivated, keep my sisters, my brothers, my nieces, my nephews, my aunties, my uncles, my grannies, my mamas, keep everybody motivated with us. Don't forget to read y'all Psalms today. We're on the 15th today. Read 15, read your Proverbs 15. Y'all, when you read it, I'm telling you, it's going to be like, oh my God. When I say God is speaking in this time, let's just please, please, please turn our ear to listen. Sometimes we have to quiet the noise of the world and open up the noise of God. And I think that I try to, yes, we balance a lot of, we talk about worldly things here. We talk about world issues or whatever. But I like to keep a great balance because I do like to open up the word of God. Okay. I love each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for stopping by with y'all auntie. Know that I love you for real, for real. We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the change it has gone through achieve such beauty. Y'all are all butterflies. We are all beautiful. We all have our own uniqueness. You know what I'm saying? I love you for you. Love me for me. Let's love each other. Bye. See y'all in the next video. Peace.
No, I'm perfect, so go ahead and drink up. I'm so glad we got to link up. Get to taking that off me. I got the plug, I made the coffee green. Talking late night for you.